Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session. I'm excited to have you here. Today, we're focusing on a very useful resource for your UPSC preparations. On this slide, you'll see a reminder to please like and subscribe if you find this helpful. We offer free videos, quick revision PPTs, and MCQs with answers to help you prepare effectively. Specifically, we'll be covering 50 questions and answers for UPSC prelims. So, stay with me as we go through these valuable materials to boost your exam readiness. Let's get started. All right, let's take a closer look at the options here. We have Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. Now, when we consider size, Earth is our home planet, but it's not the biggest in the solar system. Jupiter, on the other hand, is actually the largest planet we have. It's a giant gas planet, and it's so massive that it could fit over 1,000 Earths inside of it. Saturn is also quite large and well known for its stunning rings, but it's still much smaller than Jupiter. Mars is much smaller, often called the red planet, and it's a favorite for future exploration, but it's definitely not the largest. So the correct answer here is Jupiter, as it holds the title of the biggest planet in our solar system. This is a great example of how diverse and fascinating our solar system really is. Now, let's focus on the areas with high species diversity that are under threat. These regions are incredibly important because they host a wide variety of plants, animals, and ecosystems. When we talk about biodiversity hotspots, we're referring to places that are not only rich in species, but are also facing significant threats from human activities like deforestation, pollution, and climate change. These threats put many unique and vital species at risk of extinction. Recognizing these hotspots helps us prioritize conservation efforts. It's a crucial point in understanding how we can protect our natural heritage and maintain ecological balance. So, in the broader context of our presentation, highlighting these areas reminds us of the urgent need to preserve biodiversity for the health of our planet. So, the correct answer here is B. Article 21A now. This article is really significant because it enshrines the right to education as a fundamental right in our Constitution. It makes education a duty of the state to provide free and compulsory education to children between the ages of 6 and 14. This was a landmark change, emphasizing that education isn't just a privilege, but a right that every child must have access to. Connecting this to the overall theme of our presentation, which is about fundamental rights and their importance, Article 21A underscores how the Constitution aims to promote equality and social justice through education. It ensures that every child, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to learn, grow, and contribute to society. So, when we talk about the right to education, remember that it's directly linked to Article 21A, reflecting the nation's commitment to nurturing an informed and empowered citizenry. So, when we look at the options here, the correct answer is A. Kosi. The Kosi River is famously known as the Sorrow of Bihar because of its frequent and devastating floods. These floods cause massive destruction, displacing thousands of people and damaging crops and homes. It's a river that has a very turbulent history in Bihar, constantly changing course and creating havoc every monsoon season. This nickname highlights the significant challenge that the Kosi poses to the region, making it a crucial part of our discussion on Bihar's geography and environmental issues. Understanding this helps us appreciate the ongoing efforts to control and manage the river's flow to reduce its destructive impact. Now, moving on to slide 6, let's focus on climate change. This is a critical issue that affects us all and is closely linked to global efforts to protect our environment. When we talk about climate change, we're referring to the long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns, primarily driven by human activities like burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes. These actions release greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide and methane, into the atmosphere, which trap heat and cause global temperatures to rise. One of the most significant international agreements addressing this challenge is the Kyoto Protocol. It was adopted in 1997 and came into force in 2005. The main idea behind the Kyoto Protocol was to set binding emission reduction targets for developed countries, recognizing that they are historically the largest contributors to greenhouse gases. It marked a crucial step in global efforts to combat climate change by encouraging countries to reduce their emissions through various mechanisms, including emissions trading and clean development projects. Understanding the Kyoto Protocol helps us see how international cooperation is essential in tackling environmental issues. It laid the groundwork for subsequent agreements like the Paris Agreement, which involves a broader range of countries and more flexible commitments. Overall, addressing climate change requires a concerted effort from all of us, governments, industries, and individuals, to reduce emissions and transition towards sustainable practices. So, when it comes to the headquarters of the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, the correct answer is Washington, D.C. That's right. The IMF's main office is located in the capital of the United States. This location is quite significant because it places the IMF at the heart of one of the world's most influential economies. Having its headquarters in Washington, D.C. also facilitates close cooperation with the U.S. government and other international organizations based in the area. Throughout this presentation, we've seen how the IMF plays a crucial role in global economic stability, and its strategic positioning in Washington, D.C. helps it effectively coordinate international financial policies and support member countries. Today, we're focusing on the Kesavananda Bharati case, which is one of the most significant Supreme Court rulings in Indian constitutional law. This case is famous because it established the crucial doctrine of the basic structure of the Constitution. So, when we talk about the basic structure, we're referring to those fundamental features that form the core of our Constitution. The key point here is that, while Parliament has the power to amend the Constitution, this power is not absolute. It cannot alter or destroy its essential features. This judgment effectively set limits on the amending power of Parliament, safeguarding the Constitution's fundamental principles. Now the question arises, in which case was the concept of the basic structure actually formulated? The answer is the Kesavananda Bharati case, decided in 1973. This case marked a turning point because it clarified that certain features, like democracy, sovereignty, and the rule of law, are so vital that they cannot be changed even through constitutional amendments. This ruling connects deeply with our overall theme of constitutional stability and the protection of fundamental rights. It underscores the idea that the Constitution is a living document, but one that also has its non-negotiable core features, ensuring the balance of power between the Parliament and the judiciary. So, in essence, the Kesavananda Bharati case is where the concept of the basic structure was first robustly propounded, influencing constitutional law profoundly and continuing to protect the core values of our democracy. Now let's take a look at this question about greenhouse gases. The options listed are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen, and nitrous oxide. The key here is to identify which of these is not a greenhouse gas. Most people know that carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are all significant contributors to the greenhouse effect. They trap heat in the atmosphere and contribute to global warming. But nitrogen, that's a different story. Nitrogen makes up about 78% of our Earth's atmosphere, but it's not a greenhouse gas. It's very stable and doesn't trap heat like the others do. So the correct answer here is nitrogen. It's important to understand this because not all gases in the atmosphere contribute to warming. Recognizing which gases are greenhouse gases helps us focus our efforts on reducing emissions that impact climate change. In summary, while nitrogen is abundant in our atmosphere, it's not a greenhouse gas, unlike carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Now let's look at the options for the first state where the Panchayati Raj system was introduced in India. The choices are Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Gujarat. Among these, the correct answer is Rajasthan. This is an important milestone because the Panchayati Raj system was a significant step towards decentralizing power and promoting local governance. It aimed to empower village-level institutions, giving local people a voice in decision-making processes that affect their daily lives. Understanding where it was first introduced helps us appreciate the historical context of our democratic development. Rajasthan, being one of the earliest adopters, set a precedent for other states to follow. So, when you think about the origins of Panchayati Raj, remember that Rajasthan was the trailblazer in this movement towards local self-governance. The correct answer here is C, 8. The Tropic of Cancer actually passes through 8 Indian states. This is quite interesting because it highlights how a single geographical line can influence multiple regions across the country. These states include Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Tripura. Recognizing this helps us understand the broader impact of latitude on climate, culture, and even agricultural practices in these areas. Connecting this to our overall theme, it shows how geographic markers like the Tropic of Cancer are not just lines on a map. They have real, tangible effects on the regions they pass through. The correct answer here is a Great Barrier Reef. As we explore the incredible diversity of coral reefs around the world, it's important to recognize the scale of the largest one, the Great Barrier Reef. Stretching over 2,300 kilometers along the northeastern coast of Australia, this reef system is not only the biggest, but also one of the most complex and vibrant ecosystems on Earth. It is composed of over 2,900 individual reefs and around 900 islands, hosting an astonishing variety of marine life. This vast underwater landscape plays a crucial role in supporting marine biodiversity and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Understanding its size and significance helps us appreciate the importance of conserving these delicate ecosystems worldwide. So, in our discussion of the world's major coral reefs, keep in mind that the Great Barrier Reef stands out as the largest and one of the most iconic. Now, when we look at the question of who was the first Governor-General of independent India, the options include Lord Mountbatten, C. Rajagopalachari, Jawaharlal Nehru, and Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Among these, the correct answer is Lord Mountbatten. He served as the last British Viceroy and then became the first Governor-General of independent India in 1947, overseeing the transition from colonial rule to independence. His role was crucial in guiding the initial stages of India's independence process. This connects to our broader discussion about leadership during pivotal moments in Indian history, emphasizing how figures like Mountbatten played a role in shaping the early governance of the nation. Let's look at the options for connecting major bodies of water. In option A, we have the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. These two are connected by the Suez Canal, which is a crucial shipping route. It links Europe, Asia, and Africa, significantly shortening the maritime distance between the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. This canal is a vital artery for global trade, especially for transporting goods between Europe and Asia. The other options, like the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans or the Black Sea and Caspian Sea, are also important water bodies, but they are connected differently. The key point here is that the Suez Canal provides a direct, man-made link between the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, making option A the correct answer and a vital component of international trade routes. All right, let's take a look at this question. Which of these options is the currency of Japan? The choices are won, yen, dollar, and peso. Now, the correct answer here is B, yen. The yen is Japan's official currency and is one of the most traded currencies in the world. It's interesting to note that the yen has a long history and has played a significant role in Japan's economic development. When discussing global currencies, understanding the yen's position helps us see how Japan fits into the broader international financial system. So remember, if you ever come across discussions about Japan's economy, the yen is the key currency you should think of. So, when we look at the question about the language in which the Vedas are written, the correct answer is Sanskrit. Sanskrit is often considered the classical language of ancient India and holds a special place because the Vedas, which are among the oldest sacred texts, are composed in this language. It's important to recognize that Sanskrit played a crucial role in preserving and transmitting the spiritual and philosophical ideas that form the foundation of Indian culture. Now, if we briefly compare this with the other options, Pali, Prakrit, and Tamil, each of these languages also have rich histories and cultural significance, but for the Vedas specifically, Sanskrit is the key language. This connection highlights how the development of language and script was intertwined with the spiritual and intellectual history of India, shaping the way knowledge was recorded and shared across generations. Now, let's focus on food grain production, which is a crucial aspect of India's agricultural growth. The Green Revolution in India is primarily associated with a significant increase in food grain production, especially wheat and rice. This movement started in the 1960s and involved the introduction of high-yield variety seeds, modern farming techniques, and increased use of fertilizers and irrigation. These innovations helped India move from a food-deficient country to a self-sufficient one. The Green Revolution was a game-changer because it not only boosted food security, but also transformed the agricultural landscape of the country. It's important to understand that this revolution played a key role in supporting India's overall development and reducing dependence on food imports. So, when we talk about the Green Revolution, it's essentially about how food grain production was revolutionized, leading to a more prosperous and self-reliant India. This theme of agricultural progress ties into our broader discussion of economic growth and food security in the country. When we think about the largest deserts in the world, many might first imagine the Sahara or the Gobi, but actually, the biggest one is the Antarctic desert. That's right, deserts aren't just hot and sandy. They are defined by their low precipitation levels. The Antarctic desert covers the entire continent of Antarctica, which is incredibly cold and icy, yet it qualifies as a desert because of its arid conditions. This highlights how diverse deserts can be, from scorching sands to icy wastes. Recognizing the Antarctic desert as the largest helps us understand the broad range of environments that fit the desert classification, tying into our overall theme of exploring Earth's varied landscapes. So moving on to slide 19, let's look at the options for the question. The Rajya Sabha is also known as. Among the choices, A. Upper House, B. Lower House, C. House of People, and D. Council of Ministers, the correct answer is A. Upper House. The Rajya Sabha, as you may know, is the upper chamber of parliament in India. It's often referred to as the Council of States, which aligns with the term upper house. This distinction is important because it highlights the role of the Rajya Sabha in representing the states of India at the national level, providing a balance to the directly elected lower house, which is the Lok Sabha. Understanding this helps us grasp how the Indian parliamentary system functions, with the Rajya Sabha acting as a stabilizing body, reviewing legislation, and representing the interests of the states. So, in the context of our overall presentation, recognizing the Rajya Sabha as the upper house emphasizes its role in maintaining a federal balance and ensuring that state voices are heard at the central level. So, when we look at the history of ISRO, one of the key milestones is the year 1969. That's the year when ISRO was officially established. It marked the beginning of India's journey into space exploration and satellite technology. This was a crucial step in building our own capabilities, reducing reliance on other countries, and fostering scientific innovation within India. Connecting this to the overall theme of technological progress, 1969 was a foundational year that set the stage for many of the breakthroughs we'll discuss later. It's fascinating to see how a single year can represent such a significant turning point, laying the groundwork for everything that followed in India's space endeavors. Now, let's look at some of the smaller states in India when it comes to area. The options listed are Goa, Sikkim, Tripura, and Nagaland. The key point here is to identify which of these states is the smallest by land area. Focusing on Goa, this state is quite well known for its beautiful beaches and vibrant tourism industry. But in terms of size, Goa is actually the smallest among these options. It covers an area of just about 3,700 square kilometers, making it quite compact compared to the others. Understanding the size of Goa helps us appreciate its unique geographic and cultural identity. Although small in land area, Goa has a significant presence in India's tourism, history, and cultural sectors. So, when considering the smallest state by area, the correct answer here is Goa. This point ties into our broader theme of how diverse and geographically varied India is, with states that differ widely in size, culture, and landscape. Let's take a look at the options for where the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded. We have Stockholm, Oslo, Geneva, and Paris. Now, the key point here is that the Nobel Peace Prize has a unique tradition compared to other Nobel Prizes. It is actually awarded in Oslo, Norway. This practice stems from Alfred Nobel's will, which designated the Norwegian parliament to select the laureates for peace. So, out of these options, the correct answer is Oslo. Remember, this detail not only highlights the special status of the Peace Prize, but also reflects Norway's long-standing commitment to peace and diplomacy. So, whenever you think about the Nobel Peace Prize, think of Oslo, the city where this prestigious award is presented. The correct answer here is B, increase in fish production. Now, when we talk about the Blue Revolution, we're referring to a significant boost in fish production, much like how the Green Revolution transformed agriculture. This movement focused on expanding aquaculture and fisheries to meet the growing demand for seafood. It played a crucial role in enhancing food security, providing livelihoods, and supporting economic growth, especially in coastal regions. So, in the context of our overall discussion on agricultural and food production advancements, the Blue Revolution highlights the importance of aquatic resources and sustainable fishing practices. The correct answer is A, 1757. The Battle of Plassey was fought in 1757, marking a pivotal moment in Indian history. This battle was between the British East India Company, led by Robert Clive, and the forces of Suraj ud-Dawla, the Nawab of Bengal. Its outcome laid the foundation for British dominance in India. The victory at Plassey was not just a military success. It was a turning point that enabled the British to establish control over Bengal, one of the richest regions. This event is often considered the beginning of nearly 2 centuries of British rule in India. Understanding this battle helps us grasp how colonial power was cemented through strategic and military means, shaping the entire course of Indian history. Let's talk about some of the major dams in India. When we consider the largest dam in the country, there are a few notable names that come to mind: Bakra Nangal Dam, Hirakud Dam, Tehri Dam, and Sardar Sarovar Dam. Among these, the largest in India is actually the Hirakud Dam. Located in Odisha, the Hirakud Dam is an engineering marvel, stretching over 25 kilometers. It's not only significant in size, but also plays a crucial role in flood control, irrigation, and hydroelectric power generation. Recognizing the largest dam helps us understand India's vast water resource management and the importance of such infrastructure in supporting agriculture and energy needs. So, the correct answer here is Hirakud Dam. When we look at major rivers around the world, it's fascinating to compare their lengths and significance. On this slide, we see 4 prominent rivers: the Amazon, the Nile, the Yangtze, and the Mississippi. Each of these rivers holds an important place in geography, history, and culture. Now, the question posed is, which of these is the longest river in the world? And the correct answer is the Nile. This river stretches approximately 6,650 kilometers, flowing through northeastern Africa. While the Amazon is often considered the largest in terms of volume, the Nile takes the title for length. Recognizing the Nile's extensive course helps us appreciate its critical role in ancient civilizations, agriculture, and modern-day economies. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding these major rivers highlights how vital waterways are to human development and environmental systems across the globe. Today, I want to talk about the importance of forest conservation, which is a key aspect of environmental protection. The Chipko movement is a famous example of how people have actively stood up to save their forests. This movement originated in India during the 1970s, with local communities, especially women, protesting against deforestation caused by commercial logging. They literally hugged the trees to prevent them from being cut down, symbolizing their deep connection to the forests and their determination to protect them. This movement not only highlighted the significance of forests for biodiversity and climate stability, but also inspired environmental activism worldwide. It reminds us that protecting our forests is vital for maintaining ecological balance and ensuring sustainable development. So, when we think about conserving forests today, the legacy of the Chipko movement encourages us to take action and advocate for our natural environment. So, the correct answer here is 1993. The National Human Rights Commission was established in 1993, marking a significant milestone in our country's commitment to protecting and promoting human rights. This institution was set up to independently investigate violations and ensure accountability. It plays a crucial role in maintaining human rights standards and addressing grievances. Remember, the establishment of this commission aligns with the broader theme of strengthening democratic institutions and safeguarding citizens' rights. It's an essential step in our ongoing journey towards justice and equality. So, when we look at the options here, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, and Perth, the correct answer is Canberra. Now, many people might think Sydney or Melbourne because they're larger and more well-known internationally, but the capital of Australia is actually Canberra. It was purpose-built as the capital to serve as a neutral and central location between these two major cities. Canberra is home to important government institutions, including Parliament House, and serves as the political and administrative heart of the country. Recognizing Canberra as the capital helps us understand how Australia's political geography is organized, emphasizing the importance of planned cities and their roles in national identity. Now, moving on to the question about the Dandiya dance, which is associated with a particular region in India. The options are Punjab, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Assam. The correct answer here is Gujarat. Dandiya is a traditional folk dance that is deeply rooted in Gujarati culture, especially during the festival of Navratri. It involves rhythmic, circular movements with sticks called dandiyas, which are clapped together in sync with the music. This dance not only celebrates the divine, but also reflects the vibrant and energetic spirit of Gujarat. Understanding the regional origins of such dances helps us appreciate the cultural diversity across India. Each dance form is a window into the history, beliefs, and traditions of its region. In this case, Gujarat's rich folk traditions come alive through Dandiya, making it a unique and important cultural expression. So, when we think of Dandiya, we should remember its close association with Gujarat's lively festivals and community celebrations, which are a vital part of India's cultural tapestry. Now, let's look at some of the fundamental rights that are essential for ensuring justice and equality in our society. We have 4 key rights here. First, the right to equality, which guarantees that everyone is treated fairly and without discrimination. Next is the right to freedom, giving individuals the liberty to express themselves and choose their way of life. Then, we have the right to property, which historically was a fundamental right but was later classified differently, though still very important. Lastly, the right against exploitation, which protects individuals from unfair labor practices and human trafficking. It's important to understand that these rights are designed to safeguard our freedoms and ensure social justice. However, not all rights listed here are considered fundamental rights anymore. For example, the right to property, which was once a fundamental right, is now classified as a legal right, reflecting changes in our legal framework over time. This connects to the overall theme of our presentation, which is about understanding our rights, their evolution, and how they help shape a just society. So, when you're asked which of these is not a current fundamental right, remember that the right to property has undergone changes and is no longer classified as one. Now, let's focus on the formation of the IMF and the World Bank, which is a key outcome of the Bretton Woods Conference. This conference, held in 1944, was a pivotal moment in shaping the post-World War II economic order. The main goal was to create a framework that would promote economic stability and prevent the kind of economic turmoil that contributed to the Great Depression and the war. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, was established to oversee the international monetary system, facilitate currency stability, and provide short-term financial assistance to countries facing balance of payments problems. It acts as a kind of financial safety net, helping countries stabilize their economies during crises. Meanwhile, the World Bank was created with a slightly different purpose. Its focus is on long-term economic development and poverty reduction. It provides funding for infrastructure projects, education, health, and other critical sectors to promote sustainable growth. Both institutions were designed to work together, supporting global economic stability and development. Their formation marked a significant step toward international cooperation in economic policy, emphasizing the interconnectedness of nations. Connecting this to our overall theme, these institutions symbolize the move towards a more organized and cooperative global economic system, aimed at fostering peace, stability, and shared prosperity. This was a foundational moment that set the stage for the international financial architecture we see today. All right, let's talk about the largest ocean in the world. When we look at the options, we see the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean. Now, which one is the biggest? The answer is the Pacific Ocean. It's truly vast, covering more surface area than all the other oceans combined. This immense size not only influences global climate and weather patterns, but also plays a crucial role in international shipping and trade routes. Understanding the Pacific Ocean helps us appreciate how interconnected our planet truly is, highlighting the importance of oceans in shaping our environment and economies. Today, let's focus on Ashoka, who is a pivotal figure in Indian history. Ashoka was the third emperor of the Mauryan dynasty and is renowned for his remarkable transformation after the Kalinga War. Initially, he was a fierce and ambitious ruler, but the brutality of the war profoundly changed him. This led him to adopt Buddhism and promote peace, nonviolence, and dharma throughout his empire. His edicts, inscribed on rocks and pillars, highlight his commitment to moral governance and social welfare. Ashoka's reign marked a significant shift towards a more compassionate and enlightened leadership style, which influenced the culture, religion, and politics of his time. Connecting this to the overall theme of leadership and transformation, Ashoka exemplifies how personal experiences can lead to societal change. The correct answer here is B, Hague. The International Court of Justice, often called the ICJ, is actually located in The Hague in the Netherlands. This is a key point because The Hague is known as the International City of Peace and Justice, hosting many important legal institutions. The ICJ is the main judicial organ of the United Nations, and its role is to settle disputes between states and provide advisory opinions on international legal issues. Understanding its location helps us grasp how the global community seeks justice and resolution through this prominent institution. Remember, the ICJ's presence in The Hague underscores the city's significance as a hub for international law and diplomacy, aligning perfectly with the overall theme of fostering peace and legal cooperation worldwide. So, if we look at the timeline here, the correct answer is B, 2001. This was the year when the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan was officially launched. This initiative marked a significant turning point in our country's efforts to achieve universal elementary education. It was launched with the clear goal of providing free and compulsory education to all children between the ages of 6 and 14. The key concept here is accessibility and inclusiveness, aiming to bridge gaps in education access across different regions and communities. It also emphasized quality education and the importance of community participation. Connecting this to our overall discussion, the launch of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan was a strategic move to align with broader educational reforms and to ensure every child has the opportunity to learn, grow, and contribute to the nation's development. It's a foundational step towards building a more equitable and educated society. So, when we look at the largest producer of coffee in the world, the answer is Brazil. Brazil has a long-standing tradition of coffee cultivation, and it's become a global leader in this industry. Their vast plantations and favorable climate conditions really give them a competitive edge. This is especially significant because coffee is such an important commodity worldwide, influencing economies and trade routes. Understanding Brazil's dominance in coffee production helps us grasp how certain countries shape global markets and influence supply chains. It's a great example of how geography and climate play crucial roles in global agriculture and trade. Now, looking at the options here, we have solar energy, wind energy, coal, and hydropower. These are all sources of energy that we use to generate power, but they differ significantly in how they are replenished. Solar energy and wind energy, for example, are renewable resources because the sun and wind are naturally available and will continue to be so for a very long time. Hydropower, which harnesses moving water, is also generally considered renewable, although it can have environmental impacts. On the other hand, coal is a different story. It is a fossil fuel, and fossil fuels are non-renewable resources. That means they form over millions of years and are finite. Once we use them up, they can't be replaced on a human timescale. This is a key point because relying on non-renewable resources like coal has implications for sustainability and environmental health. So, in this context, the correct answer is coal. It highlights the importance of understanding which energy sources are sustainable and which are limited, aligning with our overall theme of exploring renewable versus non-renewable resources and their impact on our future energy choices. So looking at the options here, we see the years 1919, 1920, 1942, and 1930. The correct answer is 1942. This was the year when the Quit India movement was launched. It was a pivotal moment in India's struggle for independence, initiated by Mahatma Gandhi with the call for immediate freedom from British rule. The movement marked a significant escalation in resistance, involving mass protests and civil disobedience across the country. It's a key event that highlights the growing assertiveness of Indian nationalists and the increasing pressure on British authorities. Connecting this to our overall theme, it underscores how collective action and leadership can catalyze major change in a nation's history. Now, let's focus on the mangrove forests, which are a fascinating and vital part of our natural environment. The Sundarbans, for example, are renowned for their extensive mangrove ecosystem. These forests are unique because they thrive in coastal intertidal zones, where saltwater and freshwater meet. They serve as a natural buffer against storms and erosion, protecting the inland areas. Mangroves are incredibly rich in biodiversity, providing habitat for a wide variety of species, including iconic creatures like the Bengal tiger, which is often associated with this region. They also support numerous fish and bird species, making them crucial for local livelihoods and ecological balance. Understanding the importance of mangrove forests helps us appreciate their role not just in the local environment, but on a global scale too. They are essential for carbon sequestration, helping mitigate climate change, and they are vital for maintaining healthy coastal ecosystems. So, when we talk about the Sundarbans and similar areas, we're looking at more than just a forest. We're seeing a complex, dynamic system that plays a key role in the health of our planet. Let's explore some of the world's highest peaks. Among the options listed, the correct answer is Kanchenjunga. This mountain is actually the third highest in the world, standing tall at 8,586 meters. It's located on the border between Nepal and India, in the Himalayan mountain range. Kanchenjunga is renowned not just for its impressive height, but also for its cultural and spiritual significance to local communities. Now, if we look at the other options briefly, Nanda Devi is a magnificent peak in India, but it ranks as the second highest in the country, not the highest. K2, often called the Savage Mountain, is the second highest in the world, located on the China-Pakistan border, and Annapurna is a notable mountain in Nepal, famous among climbers but not as tall as Kanchenjunga. This slide helps us understand the diversity and grandeur of the Himalayan range, which features some of the tallest and most awe-inspiring mountains on Earth. Recognizing these peaks not only highlights geographical marvels, but also emphasizes the importance of the Himalayas in cultural and ecological contexts. The correct answer here is B, 1929. So, when we look at the establishment of the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, or ICAR, it actually happened in 1929. This was a significant milestone because it marked the beginning of a dedicated organization aimed at advancing agricultural research in India. The formation of ICAR was crucial for promoting scientific research and technological development in agriculture, which is the backbone of India's economy. Understanding the year helps us appreciate the historical context. It was during the colonial era, yet it laid the foundation for modern agricultural practices in India. This date connects to the broader theme of how agricultural research evolved over time, shaping the policies and innovations we see today. All right, now let's look at the question about the largest continent. The options are Africa, Europe, Asia, and Antarctica. And if you remember from earlier, we discussed how continents vary greatly in size. The correct answer here is Asia. It's not just the most populous continent, but also the largest in terms of land area. Asia covers about 30% of the Earth's total landmass, making it a truly vast and diverse region. It includes everything from the expansive deserts of the Middle East to the dense forests of Southeast Asia and the massive mountain ranges like the Himalayas. Recognizing Asia as the largest continent helps us better understand global geography and the distribution of populations and cultures around the world. Now, let's look at the options related to fiscal deficits. Option A refers to an excess of revenue over expenditure, which is basically a surplus, not a deficit. Option B talks about an excess of expenditure over revenue excluding borrowings, which is closer, but still not the full picture. Option C, on the other hand, describes the excess of total expenditure over total receipts, including borrowings. And finally, Option D mentions the excess of imports over exports, which relates to the trade balance, not fiscal deficit. So, the correct answer here is Option C. This is because the fiscal deficit measures how much the government is spending beyond what it earns, taking into account borrowings as well. Understanding this helps us see the overall health of a country's finances and its borrowing needs. It's a crucial concept that ties into the broader theme of fiscal management and economic stability. So, if we look at the timeline, the correct answer here is B, 1885. The Indian National Congress was founded in 1885, and this marks a significant turning point in our history. It was established as a platform for Indians to voice their concerns and participate actively in the governance of their country. The founding of the Congress was crucial because it laid the groundwork for later independence movements. It brought together educated Indians from different regions and backgrounds, creating a collective voice that would grow stronger over time. Remember, this formation was not just about politics. It was about uniting people around a common goal of self-rule and national identity. Connecting this to the overall theme, the Congress's foundation in 1885 was the beginning of organized political activism in India, setting the stage for subsequent generations to challenge colonial rule and fight for independence. Let's take a look at some of the key figures in India's space history. First up, Aryabhata. He was actually India's first satellite, launched in 1975. Named after the ancient mathematician and astronomer Aryabhata, this satellite marked a significant milestone in our space program. It was primarily used for scientific experiments and helped us understand our Earth's atmosphere better. Aryabhata's successful launch paved the way for future Indian satellites and demonstrated our growing capabilities in space technology. So, when we talk about the very first Indian satellite, Aryabhata is the name that comes to mind, symbolizing the beginning of our journey into space exploration. So the correct answer here is B, 1949. The preamble of the Indian Constitution was adopted in 1949, although it officially came into effect along with the Constitution in 1950. This is a key milestone because the preamble sets out the fundamental values and guiding principles of the nation, such as justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. It reflects the collective aspirations of the people and acts as a moral compass for the functioning of the government. Remember, the adoption in 1949 was a crucial step in shaping India's democratic identity, even though the constitution itself was enforced in 1950. This timeline highlights how the foundational principles were established and emphasized even before the Constitution officially came into force. Now, when we look at some of the major national parks in India, it's important to recognize their unique features and significance. For instance, Jim Corbett National Park is renowned for its tiger conservation efforts and lush forests. Kaziranga National Park is famous worldwide for its one-horned rhinoceros population and rich biodiversity. Hemis National Park, which is our focus here, is located in Ladakh and is best known for being a sanctuary for the elusive snow leopards, as well as other high-altitude wildlife. It's a vital part of India's protected areas, especially given its unique ecosystem. Lastly, Gir National Park is the only place in the world where you can see the Asiatic lions in their natural habitat. So, when considering the largest national park in India, Hemis National Park stands out, not just because of its size, but also because of its ecological significance and the rare species it protects. It highlights the diversity of India's wildlife and the importance of conserving these incredible habitats. Now, let's focus on the anti-dam movement, specifically the Nirmada Bachao Andolan. This movement emerged as a powerful response to large dam projects on the Nirmada River. It was primarily driven by local communities, environmentalists, and activists who raised concerns about the social and ecological impacts of these dams. They argued that the dams would displace thousands of people, threaten local ecosystems, and lead to the loss of biodiversity. The movement emphasized the need for sustainable development that considers both human and environmental needs. It gained national and international attention, highlighting the importance of balancing development with conservation. This movement is a significant example of grassroots activism advocating for responsible development practices, aligning with our overall theme of environmental and social justice. All right, let's look at this question about chemical symbols. The options are Ag, O, Geed, and Go. The key here is to identify which of these symbols corresponds to gold. Now, gold's chemical symbol is O, which comes from its Latin name, aurum. This is a common point of confusion because many people think of the English name, but in chemistry, symbols are often derived from Latin. So among the options listed, the correct answer is B, O. Recognizing these symbols is important because it helps us quickly identify elements in chemical equations and understanding their properties. Remember, O is the symbol for gold, and that ties back to our broader theme of understanding the periodic table and how elements are represented. Now, moving on to the next question, which is about the largest state in India by area. The options are Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and Uttar Pradesh, and the correct answer is Rajasthan. Rajasthan is actually the largest state in India when it comes to land area, covering about 342,239 square kilometers. That's quite expansive, and it plays a significant role in the country's geography and culture. Recognizing Rajasthan's size helps us appreciate the diversity and vastness of India's states. It's interesting to see how its large area includes a variety of landscapes, from deserts to mountains. Understanding this helps us get a clearer picture of India's overall geographical diversity, which is a key part of the broader theme of our presentation. The correct answer is B, 1931. This date marks the year when the Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed, which was a significant milestone in the Indian independence movement. The pact was an agreement between Mahatma Gandhi and the then British Viceroy, Lord Irwin, aimed at easing tensions and initiating dialogue. It marked a shift from confrontation to negotiation, with Gandhi agreeing to suspend the civil disobedience movement in exchange for the British concessions, such as the release of political prisoners and the right to make salt for personal use. This event highlights how strategic negotiations played a crucial role in India's path toward independence. Connecting this to the overall theme, it demonstrates the importance of dialogue and diplomacy even amidst resistance, emphasizing that progress often involves compromise and mutual understanding.